Live.
Yeah!
Due to some violent content, parental discretion is advised.
Are you ready? I guess I'm ready. This is the only time I'm going to be ready. Hello. Where's my... There we go.
Well, I don't know what this thing is. I think it's a strip show, dance show.
Work there, dude.
Welcome to
DeaconLive.
DeaconLive.
Live.
Welcome back, guys. On today's show, we talk to hip-hop artist TEF XL. Also, what's causing kids to die in their sleep. And bees are all now considered fish. And Burger King wants to know if you're a top or a bottom bun. All this and much, much more will be discussed here on DeaconLive. How are you? How are things? How are things going? Are you doing all right? Are you surviving out there? Are you getting along with everyone? I know there's a lot of stuff going on in the news and the media and stuff. Well, the gun shootings and everything. We'll try to keep it as light and fluffy as we possibly can because I know you guys get bombarded with a bunch of stuff. And we'll leave all the fancy talk for IT Dan on Is This Going Somewhere here later on in the show. So are you doing all right? Are you doing okay? That's all I'm worried about. As far as me, yes, I'm doing fine. Well, sort of. Again, you know, I've always got problems. There's always something going on in my life. I think it's minute, or some people might think it's minute. And me, it's, you know, this big. So the family, as you guys know, have gone. My dad's brother and his sister came up here with their spouses, had a fine time, and they're gone. They've gone back to their houses, wherever they're from. I actually forget where they live. I was not paying attention during that whole conversation at all. I forget where they live. But I know they don't live in Florida anymore. But anyway, so they've gone back home. And so we've had the house back to ourselves. Now, for those of you who don't know, my mom passed away back in February, and before that, I was on a regimen as far as getting in shape and getting my blood pressure down to a certain level and losing weight, and I was doing really, really well. I even went out and bought myself a real nice, $300 like trek bike, so you can do like the highways and byways in the land of the lost, and so I was doing that, 2-3 times a week. I'd go about 4 or 5 miles, and then situation with my mom, and then of course February into March taking care of my dad and get the house all sold and stuff. March leads into April, getting everything from his house up here, and then just trying to get everything situated. So the long of the short is I have not been riding my bike since January, actually, and I can feel it. I can feel the difference in my body. Eating fried food and stuff, and not watching my diet, and not getting enough exercise, and laying on the couch and just being exhausted from just doing odds and ends stuff, and mentally exhausting. I was beat. My brain for the last 3 months was just completely stressed out. My brain was just completely mush, and I just was like, you know what? I need to start paying attention to myself and taking care of myself now. So the other day I wasn't really feeling too well. I was like kind of dizzy, kind of lightheaded, and I was like, oh, well, maybe I'll just kind of relax and stuff. And Amy's like, for the last couple of days, my wife, Amy, last couple of days, have you been all right? You doing okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm just trying to figure things out here. I don't know what's wrong with me. So I took my blood pressure the other day, and let me just say, it's not what it should be. So I kind of stressed out a little bit on that. Of course, stress leads your blood pressure to go higher, and, the higher your blood pressure, the more you stress, and it's just a revolving circle. So I just go, you know what? I've got to put my foot down. I've got to do something. I've got to get this under control, or I'm going to be dead. For the most part, I'm going to be dead. So I decided, all right, I need to start changing my diet for one, and then getting on the bike a little bit more. So I get on the bike this morning. Beautiful morning. Told my wife, hey, I think we'll go for a bike ride. She's like, good for you. I didn't give her all the details as far as why, but she'll hear the podcast and she'll know now why. And so went for a good, 3 mile, 4 mile bike ride. And you're like, well, 3 or 4 mile bike ride, that's nothing. No, you don't understand. We broadcast just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, a beautiful little town called Marshville. We are out in the middle of nowhere. We have 22 some odd acres. We have horses, chickens, cattle. The neighbors next door want us to get a cow, another cow. I'm like, no, we don't want it. We got enough shit going on here. And we have 2-lane country roads. Every road is a 2-lane country road because there's no highways or anything around us. There's not like we're not off an exit, off an exit down a suburban street and then boom, there's your neighborhood. No, we live on 2-lane country roads for miles and miles. When I say 2-lane country roads now, they are up and downhill. I'm talking, 15% grade up, 16% grade going down. I mean, these are not just average rolling hills. These are, I'm literally sitting there going, pedaling, and I'm going like, barely moving, but my legs are spinning around like Kermit the Frog, like really crazy, and my bike's going maybe a half a mile per hour is where I was, getting, and then you get to the top of it. And then you're going down, and all of a sudden you're at 20 miles an hour because I've got my headset on. I got my cell phone that does map my ride or something like that, and it says top speed 22 miles an hour. But I'm not doing that. I'm not pedaling. I'm trying to keep up with the bicycle at 22 miles an hour. It's basically my feet are just willy-nilly limp needle. That should be a band. Limp noodle, kind of just trying to keep pace with the rotation of the pedals. No. So I've been doing that and trying to get myself back in shape, getting back on track. Now, once I was done with my bicycle ride this morning, I took the truck, went down to the local store here, and picked up some libations and stuff for today's show. And I'm standing in line. And when I say 2-lane country, this is a small little. They've got like their own little ice cream parlor in there. I mean, it's like country gas station. They have that Hunt's Brothers pizza, ketchup on a cracker, right? And then they've got like the big tubs where they scoop out ice cream. Oh, would you like an ice cream there, Timmy? And thank you. And it gets melted. He's standing in line, melting in his hand as he's waiting at the register. This little boy was in front of me as I'm going to check out. Might have been 6, might have been 5. Well, 5, 6. He's in first grade. Let's do that. Whatever age that is, he's in first grade. He understands money. He understands the concept of money. And the reason why I say that is because he's buying a Gatorade. And he's got like the 32-ounce Frost Blue Gatorade, and he puts it up on the counter. Now, the way he was handling his money, I knew it was his money. Because if your mom or dad gives you money, it's flat, right? It's flat out, or it's folded in half. Go buy yourself something. And you walk in there and the money, you hand it to the lady and it's in the same condition that your mom gave it to you or your dad gave it to you, to go buy something. This kid pulls out this wad. I'm talking wad of money. Like he shoved it all into his pocket. And it's his money. He's earned it somewhere. And the lady, this is what got me. The lady goes, $3.18. And I'm looking around and I go, $3.18. I'm looking to see what the kid bought. I'm thinking like a candy bar, some M&Ms, and then this drink. All he had was the Gatorade up there. $3.19. What did I say? $3.18. $3.19. The kid looks into his hand and this wad of money, and he's counting it out. $1, $2, $3, and he's down to his last dollar in his hand. He's like, he looks at the lady, and the lady's like, $3.19, and he puts the other dollar up there, and he just kind of pushes it all towards her like, I'm all in. On a poker table, I'm all in. You've taken all my money. And then the lady gives him back, 80 some odd cents and change, and he kind of looks at it, and he kind of rattles it in his hand like you would have a thing of M&Ms in your hand. He kind of rattles it around, and he balls it up in his pocket and sticks it in there, grabs his drink, pushes his door with his head down, pushes the door open, and walks with his head down all the way out to his dad. I guess he was helping his dad do landscape or something. I could tell the back of his neck he had sweaty strips on the back of his hair, and he was in some kind of lawn care clothes, grass on his boots and whatnot. And he gets up there and he gets in the truck and just kind of sits there. And I'm like, poor guy, he just spent all his money on a Gatorade, and he's probably have it, drunk or he finish it by the time he gets to the next stop. So I felt bad for the kid, but $3.18, that's a little excessive. That's a lot for just a 32-ounce Gatorade. I don't know. I mean, you talk about inflation and prices, and it's hitting my grocery bill. It hit this kid's pocket. That was probably all the money he had until he helps his dad finishes what he's doing. All right, guys. I know. Well, stick around. We got a big show to get into. We're going to talk to TEF XL later on in the program. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Make sure you follow us on all your social networks, and the way you do that is go over to Prophet Radio, Prophet Radio. Click on social contacts, and you can see all the links that links us to you and you to us as well. Instagram, I haven't been doing a whole lot of Instagram lately. I've been kind of focusing on TikTok. So I've got a bunch of videos up there, and but you know, nonetheless, you can follow us wherever you want, and you can see all the different avenues, different platforms that we also broadcast the podcast on. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and do all that stuff that links us to you and you to us. And for every podcast we do, we have a matching video, and you can see the videos, or you can see any of the articles and stuff. Or if it has a video or as a picture, as I'm talking about it in real time right here, you can see it on our YouTube channel as well. That's Deacon Live Podcast, but you can go over to Prophet Radio and find it there as well. Now, in California, those wackos out there, it's official. Now, I'm going to say wackos, and I use that term loosely. California, for the most part, tends to be a little crazy. Florida, you can say the same thing with Florida. I was born and raised in Orlando, Florida. Lived there for up until, I think, 2013, and moved out here to Charlotte, North Carolina area in about 2013, 2014, somewhere around there. I forget the timeline. But anyways, born and raised in Florida, now living here in Charlotte area. But you know, Florida's had their share of wackos, and California has their share of just weird ideas and stuff. One of the ideas that they're floating literally right now is called the California. Hold on one second. Let me backtrack. It's official. According to California law, you can now say that you have flying fish in your garden. Now, when I say flying fish, that means all the bees that are in your garden are now considered fish. And you're like, well, how does that happen? How is that meant to be? Recently, California Appeals Court ruled that 4 species of bees are legally considered fish. Are you confused by now? Well, pretty much anyone is right now out there in California. But let me see if I can break this down for you. As we all know by now, bees are very good to our ecosystem. Since bees pollinate various crops and trees and other plants and life and stuff, we need these little guys to do their jobs the best they can to help us survive here is the humanity. Or human mankind. Unfortunately, bees have been dying off. California was able to classify bees as an endangered species. The California Endangered Species Act states that protected species fall into several different categories. One is birds, mammals, fish, amphibians, reptiles, and plants. Now, you notice I didn't say insects anywhere in there. But what they're doing right now, since bees are invertebrates, and with a little bit of wiggle room, they're trying to sneak them into the fish category to make them considered part of the endangered species list. So normally insects, you don't really go, oh, we need to save the insects, because honestly, if you think about it, mankind doesn't care. They don't care about insects. And unfortunately, if we lost all the ladybugs in the world, because they're a predator, all the aphids that would attack your plants would be just ravishing through crops and fields and stuff. Same thing with mosquitoes, and the list goes on and on. You know, we don't care about them because they're not cute and fuzzy and they really don't help us. But bees, well, we don't see the initial benefit of all this, but we do with bees. Bees affect us indirectly based on their pollination. So while that doesn't make a whole lot of sense initially, if you dive deeper into the California laws to find out how this works, in 2015, the legislation describes the category of endangered species, modifying to say that fish, while meant to be wild fish, mollusks, creations, invertebrates, or amphibians, also includes parts of spawns or ovums of these animals. Therein lies your answer of how terrestrial insects can be labeled fish. Well, this is a little bit of complicated to get there, but the result is still the same is what matters. With this recent ruling, California was able to list the crotch tumblebee, CROTCH. I said crotch bumblebee, not the tumblebee. That'd be funny. The Franklin bumblebee, the Suckley cuckoo bumblebee, and the western bumblebee as the endangered species. So all the other ones, just blow them out of the sky. We don't care about them. Like your carpenter bees and stuff, just blast those guys. So why is all the fuss in the first place, you ask? Surely it could be easier to list something as an endangered species to jump through hoops and trying to redefine the word fish. So apparently the lawsuit was filed in 2019 against the California Gaming Commission. The lawsuit was filed by agricultural groups in California, stated the commission went past its normal authority when designating the species as endangered, questioning the aforementioned fish designation. In the end, the court decided on the commission to include that the commission could designate non-aquatic vertebrates as fish, even if the traditional definition was a little tighter than overall. It's definitely a weird case, but right now, bees are considered fish as being endangered in California. So there you go. All you beekeepers out there, your beekeepers got rights too now. Well, you got to live in California. That law's got to pass further on and hopefully migrate in between the states. See what I did there? And hopefully that law will pollinate in other states. Stupid. Speaking of being stupid, now, we've all been 12 years old at one time, except for those 11-year-old listeners out there. And we've all done stupid things to get out of something. For example, you fake to be sick, to go to school. You fake a, injury. You don't want to play a certain sport. You fake dumb if you don't want to have a test. This kid right here did something a little bit more extreme and almost could have easily hurt someone. This video, now for every podcast we do, we have a matching video as well. Now's your chance to go over to the YouTube page and check this out. Oops, there we are. Let me move this back so everyone can see it. We can all be friends. So this 12-year-old kid goes into a Michigan. I'm not going to backtrack here. A 12-year-old was taken into custody after robbing a gas station at gunpoint in Michigan. The juvenile is facing felony charges, according to the police. So here we go. If you want to see this video in real time, go over to our YouTube page, and you can see this as we talk about it here on the show. So here we go. Let me turn this up. This is the actual security video.
What?
He goes, put the money in the bag, and he's got a gun. Looks like a... I don't know, 9mm or something like that. And the lady's like, what? Put the money in the bag. So she goes, are you serious? He cocks the gun and aims it up at the ceiling and blasts the gun like he's done it a million times before, just like in the movies. So here, let me play it again.
Money in the bag. What? Money in the bag. Are you serious?
He throws his backpack up on the counter. Bam!
Yeah.
Now, there's a guy standing behind him with a bag of chips, and he's just standing there. He had every opportunity to tackle this kid, and he did nothing. And the kid, he shoots the gun, and then he goes to cock it again like, you would do like a revolver. Obviously, he has the smarts to fire the gun, but doesn't know how to operate the gun. The 12-year-old boy was caught on camera in Michigan, Hartford, Michigan, robbing the place. So there he goes. Got his school backpack. Mom probably bought it for him. And now he walks out the door. The gas station cashier told CNN affiliates she thought it was a prank until the boy fired a warning shot into the ceiling. This is a marathon out there. He was arrested just blocks away within minutes after the video showed him leaving the gas station. They got him. The preteen, who has not been named because of his age, is facing felony charges according to the police. Just a couple blocks away. Hartford police said the boy obtained the gun from a family member's friend's locked safe. Here he goes. One more time. The hearing in family court is scheduled for June 13th. According to WWMT, the sign was posted outside the boy's family home when they were reached for comment. It says, advice from counsel. Jesus. No comment. C-O-M-E-N-T. Oh, this shaky handwriting on this thing. Counsel spelled wrong. Comment spelled wrong. At this time, no pics. I have to live in this town and I need some sleep. All right. Well, that's the note. They kind of haphazardly slapped on the door. It's all crooked and stuff. So we'll see what the chief officer says.
He will not give us his exact reason. He said it wasn't for the money, but he would not tell us. It was recorded on high definition, 3 different cameras at the business. I just don't know what was going on in this young guy's mind.
And it's a mental thing. I think it might have been a mental issue that he had. He was scared or something was going on. He just wanted to be arrested. He wanted to, what do they say? Like homeless people they rob or do something stupid during the winter months just so their asses end up in jail and they've got a, hot, what is it? Cot and 3 hots or something like that. What's the phrase? Where's all my jailhouse friends that know all that stuff? 3 hots and a cot or something like that during the winter times. Who knows what this kid was doing? He was so nonchalant. He wasn't worried about getting caught. He was just as calm as can be, threw his backpack up on the counter and said, here, fill this up with money. And the lady's like, are you kidding me? He goes, blam, shoots the ceiling, just like out of the movies. He's like going, no, yeah, I am. So throw the money in there. And I guess he walked out and got arrested like not even a block away. All right, guys, stick around. When we come back, we'll talk to IT Dan and see how he's doing in these times of turbulations in his life. Stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Proper Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. You want something for free? Of course you do. We'd love to give you something for free. All you got to do is go over to Prophet Radio, PROPHET Radio, click on the free swag section and fill out the little form there. Believe me, I'm not going to do anything with your email address. I just want to, if something happens with your order, I just want to be able to reach out and contact you. Pick out what you want there, and we'll send you out something for free. And if you want to be heard, if you want to talk about anything, if you just want to be part of the show in general, we'd love for you to be part of the show. And the way you do that is at the bottom of the page says "Be Heard." Click on that, opens up a microphone on whatever device that you're listening to us on whether your PC, tablet, or your smart device. Speak right into it. Speak clearly, and leave like a 60-second message, 30-second message. Doesn't matter. You can be anonymous if you want. And then it comes right to our email box, and we'll play it on the very next podcast. You can ask us any question from any podcast that we've been doing in the past, any questions about future events or anything like that. We have some more live events coming up here. Our last one that we did last week, Memorial Day weekend, was a great success. We appreciate all you guys that came out there, and we shook some hands. What I say the other day? Shake some babies and sign some hands or something like that. We did something. Kissed some hands and shook some babies. Now, we're going to find out, is this going somewhere with IT Dan?
Hello, Travis. How are you?
Hello, Dan. How are things?
Things are crazy. You know that term, right?
Yes. Why are they crazy this week?
10 mass shootings in this country.
Uh-huh.
That's more than 4 people being shot.
Right.
10 mass shootings.
Uh-huh.
And these aren't gang-related. These are at graduations and, all kinds of things. So I went out and bought a gun.
Did you?
Yes.
Another one? I thought you had one already.
I have a rifle. I bought another gun.
So are you the solution to the problem or the reason for the problem?
Well, no, I don't think this is going to cause any problems.
Says who?
Says me.
Why do you say that?
Because it's a foam gun for washing the car. I bought a foam gun so I can wash my car. That's
Okay.
the kind of gun I bought. That's my solution to the problem.
All right.
Not more guns.
All right. Just checking.
Yeah, so I did that. I'm pressure washing a deck, but most of it's moving furniture, table, chairs.
Why don't you move the furniture with the pressure washer? Just kind of blast it until it falls over.
Because I'm not you.
Oh.
That's right. That's the difference between us. So
Oh, is
I
that the
gotta
only
do that.
difference? Is that the only difference
Yeah.
between the two of us?
Besides that, we are exactly identical.
So if you were to put both of us in a room and we didn't talk or speak or anything, they go, the guy standing next to a mirror.
No, actually, I think we're probably polar opposites, but we get along very well.
Well,
And we have entertaining talks.
Paula Abdul actually had a song that's called Opposite Attract. So
It's something to do with magnets too, isn't it? The negative and the positive end of a magnet.
are you talking about the band Rare Earth?
No, I don't talk about them too much. After Get Ready, what else did they do?
I don't
Except
know.
the 11-minute version of Get Ready.
So what's new in Dan's world outside of the 15 mass shootings that happened this past week?
It was quite. Kathy and I went to a Mexican restaurant in Troy that was very good at a golf course. Didn't
All right.
play any golf.
So hold on. Is the Mexican restaurant there because of the golf course or
Yes.
as part of the golf course? Because, you know, the people who take care of the golf courses are usually Mexican, and where else would you put a Mexican restaurant? Right next to the golf course.
That makes all the sense in the world. No, actually, I mean, I think they just rented out part of the golf course. So, and so that was in Troy. We just
Well,
went there
hold on, Dan.
golf.
I don't think a Mexican restaurant on a golf course would be a good idea in the first place. Because think about it. All right, let's have lunch and we'll go play 18 holes, right? So you go out there and you have your Mexican food and you get to like hole number 8 and you're like, oh shit. Holy enchilada. It's moving through me.
I don't have that problem with Mexican food. I think it's a stereotype with it.
Well,
I mean,
think about what makes up Mexican food. So it's usually a corn or flour tortilla, right? Beans, which is high in fiber. Then there's guacamole, salad, lettuce, peppers, onions, all fiber stuff. Yeah. And then you've got your meat, your protein, whether it be, chicken, pollo, as they say in the business, con carne, or pork. Or shrimp. Sometimes I have a burrito with shrimp in it. But if you think about it, it's the beans, it's the fiber, it's all that stuff in the dressings that are on it that actually gives you the Trotskys.
Yeah, and I never usually have a problem after I'm eating it with.
It's not a problem, Dan. It's part of your body's natural function.
No, it's not like when I drink a cup of coffee. I said, okay, I have about a half hour before I'm going to head over and take a nice healthy dump. But that's not the same with me with Mexican food. And let's see, Kathy went to a gift shop and she didn't buy anything.
Well, she didn't go to the right gift shop then.
She bought a hanging chandelier.
I know you told us about it last week.
Yeah, but I had to pay for it twice.
Why? Because you bought another one that had the spare parts of the other one that you needed to fix.
No, because I had to pay for it by putting it up in the ceiling. The thing weighed a ton. And, you have to get all the wires hooked up as you're holding it up. And Kathy was trying to hold it up, but, she's not being in good health. And, her trying to hold her hands over her head. It took an hour to do it. It was a pain in the butt.
Well, she'll never do that again, will she?
Yeah. Not for another. She's good at learning a lesson. She won't do that again for another 10 minutes.
Right.
It's pretty much how things go with her. So, but yeah, it looks beautiful in our bedroom. It looks nice. We're happy with it.
And the both of you are going to sit there and enjoy it. Just the two of you.
No, I go in and turn the light off and go to sleep. That's what I do. So.
But no one else is going to see that lamp chandelier.
Probably not. So, you must be happy that it's just the three of you there and the critters.
It's gotten a lot quieter. A lot quieter.
That's the best thing when company comes is when they leave. It's nice to have them, but the moment they drive down the driveway and they're gone, you go, yes.
No, because then you have to turn around and pick up the house that they unsuccessfully or successfully destroyed. No, they didn't destroy it. But you're getting your own rhythm. And unless you have people over on a regular basis, your house is set up a certain way. I know that if I walk this way by the kitchen, I know to expect this on the counter. I know if I walk back this way, this, and this will happen, blah, 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 blah. But when you have a house full of people, you're not used to having a house full of people, and you're setting your ways and setting your, set in stone and setting your routine, that little hiccup drives me insane because I'm like going, don't you understand that this has to go right here at all times for this to happen? It's a machine, Dan. It's a machine.
Yep. And such creatures of habit. You worked at Home Depot like me. When they turn around, when people come into work at Home Depot, they always park in the same parking spot if it's available. Always be in the same row. Maybe the same car number. You walk out and you can know where. Well, John's here today. Travis is here. I can see his,
And it's so weird because when I was working for that paper company, we only had 3. Jesus Christ! What was that noise?
I don't know. It had to be something on your end.
No, it sounded like you hit a bunch of propane tanks or something.
No, there's no propane tanks here.
I know. I said it sounded like a propane tank, not that it was a propane tank.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so yeah, and we had 3 people working in the warehouse, and only 2 of them drove cars. And they get there early. Heaven forbid, there's only 2 parking. I mean, there's a lot of parking spots, and the one guy parks there, and the other guy parks there. If someone's in their spot when they get in, like a new truck driver or something that gets there early in the morning, the guy whose parking spot was taken in the warehouse comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, man, tell that new driver to get out of my spot." I'm like, "You got 6 other spots like right next to that spot." "No, man, that's my spot." All right. I'll tell him.
Yeah. We are creatures of habit. You watch the same TV shows and things, and
No, you don't watch the same TV shows and things. If you watch the same TV shows and things, I wouldn't be watching anything but Alf and The Simpsons. Well, I still watch The Simpsons, but Alf, I'm not watching Alf anymore.
Yeah, well, and Family Guy. Well, if they're available, you know that. I mean, and the same people turn on the same news channels and the same, just the way people are. Creatures have. And I'm the same way. I get up and have the same exact breakfast. Oh, I went to my doctor and I have to get on a low carb diet.
Why is that?
Because of my diabetes.
Okay. You don't take a shot. You take the pill though, right?
Yeah, I just take the pill. I don't have to take a shot. And I have to so I have the diabetes and the level's a little higher, and I got 4 pills I have to take during the day. But none of them seem to affect me adversely or anything like that, so that's good.
That you know
and
of.
I just got to stay. I got to stay out. Yeah, that I know of and things. I'm not talking to strange people or anything like that. So.
All of a sudden, you got this preamble tail that's slowly growing off your back.
Yes. Yeah. So and it's not throwing my hormones off or any of those things.
Start growing tits.
Yes, we're doing that. So I know some guys that have pretty damn man tits.
They call them They call them bitch tits.
Yes. Oh, we're doing that. So, so that's I got to do under 100 carbs a day. So I'm kind of looking at what I'm eating. And
so what is Dan eating that you're trying to trim the 100 carbs off of? You eat a bagel for breakfast, then you have Spam and a bagel for lunch, and then you have 2 bagels and a thing of Spam for dinner.
No, I have 2 pieces of toast, 2 eggs, and coffee for breakfast, and I have almond milk, which is no carbs. And then instead of that medicine is killing me. Instead of a bagel at lunch, I'll have a couple pieces of toast because there's lots less carbs in that.
But you're still eating bread, Dan.
Yeah, I know. But that's my whole lunch is 2 pieces of bread, and then I'll just have some chicken. Last night we had rice, brown rice,
carbs.
And you're going to have some carbs, but they said, and then we had a Chinese stir fry that was low in carbs. So.
And freaking 2,200 milligrams of sodium.
A sodium is okay. It's carbs. He says, watch out for carbs. And he also told me,
tell your pulmonary doctor that.
Yeah. And I want to, I don't eat a lot of things with sodium the rest of the day. I don't the only thing I ever put salt on ever is French fries, and that's not all the time. We don't even use salt in our house. I mean, barely. I probably use more salt when I have like a sore throat and you gargle with it or something like that. And so that's all I had. Yes, and yogurt. And I changed my yogurt to one that has no carbs in it. The other one I had sugar and carbs.
Well, good.
And it is gross. It's like paste. But I have one every day to keep my stomach and everything else in order. So that's what I do. And I got to fix the golf cart later today after I pressure wash this day. I'm finding all kinds of strange and odd things to do when I have time. And everybody in the neighborhood, hey, can you do this? Yeah, I'm too stupid to say no. I'll do it for you. But that is keeping me busy. So.
Well, good.
How's things going in Travis's world?
Okay.
Everybody's back. I found out you don't like dogs. Well, you don't like dogs that pee in your house on pee pads. But that's. And I got to go look at a house later this week for my brother-in-law. he's wants to buy another house here in our development.
Well, good.
And 10 mass shootings. So what is the cure for that, for all these shootings?
Do you want my professional opinion?
Yeah,
I want to hear your
personal opinion.
I want your professional opinion first.
I think they should outlaw assault rifles. I mean, you do not need an assault rifle to protect your house unless the other person coming after you has an assault rifle. And I think they should have stronger, background checks and stuff. I'm not trying to take away guns from any except assault rifles.
All right, is that it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're blaming the guns. Is that what you're doing?
Well, okay. We obviously can't correct the people's what they're going to do. So if it's going to do it, maybe make them have to have a pistol or have a gun that doesn't cause that kind of damage. Those cops, there were I think 16 or 19 cops in that school, and they would not storm the room because they were afraid of the AK-15 rifle that the guy had. They know how deadly they are.
Mm-hmm.
They said the parents of these kids are giving DNA samples because they were so blown apart that they can't even identify a lot of the kids. There's just nothing left of them. So what is your answer?
Do you want to know my answer?
Yeah, definitely.
So outside of us, you don't hear about mass shootings over in Europe and stuff, right?
No, only in the United States,
right,
for the most part.
Only in America. But do you know, outside of England and some other countries, that they have the right to own guns and stuff in other countries?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not saying take away guns. I'm not saying that.
So, but they actually are allowed to have the same amount of weapons that we are here in the United States. Prime example is Italy. Italy loves their guns. They love them. They love their guns. They now, granted, some of the rules are a little bit different than ours, but that's just the way they are from country to country. Canada, they have, medicine that's cheaper than we have here in the United States. It's just the nature of the beast of what the United States has grown to become and what is the United States. One thing that Italy has that we here in the United States don't have is they actually have a program that takes care and treats mental illness.
Oh, yeah, that's part of it, too.
Okay. So, and they found that and it's free. It's completely free. It's 100% paid for through their tax dollars, and everyone agrees to that. They have a lower mental illness rate in Italy than they do here in the United States. Now, at one time, don't forget, like in the 30s and 40s and 50s, we used to have what they called insane asylums. And unfortunately, insane asylums were mostly run by private corporations, and they would actually be, I don't want to say regulated by the government, but the government would actually come in there and say, hey, let's run some tests on this. Here's some new medication. Let's try this. And it was basically an experimental lab for the government. So over time, they've gotten rid of, quote unquote, what they called mental institutes. So when you do that and you release that population back into the surplus of the population and have them have access to weapons, then that's what happened. In Italy, they have, healthcare and medical, and they don't have mass shootings over in Italy because they found out that because they're treating mentally ill patients correctly, Dan, that's the key word, correctly, handling them not like a piece of paper going from desk to desk to desk. They actually care and take care of their mentally ill. When you take care of that prospect of a person that might be able to have a gun, you take care of that, then you don't have these issues. So our fault is, here in the United States, is that we do not take care of the mental health or the mentally disturbed or whatever, however you want to label them, insert, label here as far as these people that feel that they need to go out and create mass shootings. Now, you say, well, If they had guns, they couldn't kill that many people. No. You don't understand. In Japan and China, they don't have gun laws. They have no guns that they're allowed to have over there as well. But what's happening is over there, when someone goes completely insane, where does it happen? Where do you, like when you see an attack or some kind of mass casualty in China and stuff, it's one of two things. One, it's a bomb, or it's a, what other weapons do they use over there in China? A lot.
They use swords a lot.
They use swords and knives. And where are these attacks located when you see them on the news? They're mostly on subways and close contained areas.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you say that, we need to ban guns, we need to do all that stuff, but yet over in China and Japan where everyone's in close proximity and you have a knife, if I take a knife and I've got 50 people standing around me and I spin around one time, I'm hitting at least 20 of them. So it's not the weapon of choice that we need to regulate. It's the mental health of the person that's being forgotten.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
We have hundreds of these mass shootings this year. Hundreds of shootings or more. And how long will it take this mental health to start taking? It should
have started a long time ago. It should have never stopped.
Yeah. So if they start tomorrow morning and start mental health, you get people like this kid went in, he was 18 years old, went to a store and bought a gun. Did he have a mental health checkup? How would mental health have stopped that? Shootings just happened.
There are things, I don't know how they have it set up over there, Dan. So I don't know what that answer is. Do you start asking the kid at 3 years old, do you have mental health issues? No. It's a progression of children or people as they age that there are set up in their system as far as making sure that everyone has a good mental health and well-being. That's part of their system. It's not like, okay, when you turn 18, we're going to make sure that you're not insane. It's not that kind of answer, Dan. It's something that happens continuously. Now, when you say, go ahead.
How long would your program of mental health take to stop these shootings that are going on?
Let's say 1 generation.
Oh, okay. So we have a whole generation of kids that are scared to death to go to school. The kids are traumatized.
Well, you could start now. You could start now, and let's say you catch 5% of them. You stop 5% of the mass shootings. That's a start, right? Because on the other side of that, let's have stricter gun laws, and that's going to stop 5% of whatever the mass shootings are. It's something that you got to continuously do. It's not like a punch.
I'm not saying that. But I'm not saying that taking away AK-15s and assault rifles is going to stop these mass shootings. It's going to make them less deadly. Maybe instead of 16 children getting killed, 4 would get killed. That's
no child being killed is a good number.
Yes.
So that doesn't make any sense. You have to deal with the person. You have to deal with the mental issue, not what's in the person's hand. If I was a mental person and I had no access to gun, well, guess what? I'm going out and getting a golf club, and I'm taking a golf club and I'm going to start swinging it.
Yes, but you can't. These people are coming in with these AK-15s. And
Dan, you're missing the point. It's not, and I don't want to say it's not the gun because that's been heard a million times. If he had a gun and he was in the middle of a baseball field, he's not going to hit anyone, right? No. So and it's all in places that are highly populated and not secure at all. So they choose schools and public retail stores and outlets and stuff like that. On the flip side of that, if you take the guns out of the equation, it's still going to happen because that mental person is unstable. So he might not go to a school. He might not go to a retail outlet to get the max effect. So what you do is you figure out what kind of weapon do I have to cause total harm and destruction, and where do I need to go to get that result? So you find a closer proximity, more compact, more denser population of people where you can get, for example, a knife. Just a knife, or like I said, a golf club or a bat or something like that, and still create and get the same effect. Mass casualties, mass destruction within a certain range of density.
If I was in a classroom and someone was attacking everyone with a knife, there's a much better chance of disarming them
Correct.
than if someone has an AK-15. That weapon is a weapon of war, not of self-defense.
Dan, you're missing the thing. Anything can be a weapon of what am I trying to say? Anything can be a weapon of casualties. You're just focusing on the gun because the gun is what's in the news and in the media right now. If I had a car and I mean, look how many people were run over with cars. They were constantly getting hit with cars. We're not banning cars. We're not doing that. Now, again, back to my initial thing. If I had a knife, I'm not going to, and I want to cause mass, results. I'm not going to a school. I'm not going to those because I can't. I might get one or two kids. I'll get the fat and slow kids. I'll stab them, and then I'm losing my thing.
Well, then I think you just found the answer for everybody. If you take away the guns, then they'll never go to schools. They'll only go to subways, and they'll get older people like me that
exactly. That's what I'm saying, Dan. That's the exact point. If you take away the guns, the person that would normally take a gun to a school or retail outlet or something like that, they now have to go, okay, I have to rethink this, and how can I get the best result for the effort that I'm putting in? And you go to tight, dense, compact areas full of people, population, example, subways, airports, things like that, where we're all crammed together in concerts is a prime example, where everyone's just kind of crammed in together and someone could just pull out a knife and just start slashing, Dan. And you would get the same results as far as injuries, if not deaths.
You get 16 deaths in a subway
easily
with a knife.
Well, depending on the knife. Am I talking about a Crocodile Dundee knife? No. But if you have some kind of knife and think about it. If you had a group of people standing in front of you, Dan, and you whipped out a knife, how many people physically do you think you could stab right in the neck, right off the first hand?
Oh, yeah, you could start that.
Right. Okay, so you start that, right? So let's say I can get 5 people. I can literally go, wait, and stab 5 people in the neck. Then what happens? In a subway or some kind of mass dense area of population or people in a crowd, then those people are going to start stomping and falling on other people. So guess what? Now I've got sitting ducks. I can go, poke this one in the neck, poke this one in the neck. Now I've got maybe another 6 or 7. And then eventually, of course, you're going to get the good guy with the gun or the good guy with the knife or the good guy that wants to, stand up and that's what happens. Boom. There you go. Yeah. I'm taken down, but I took at least 9 people down with me.
Yeah. And I mean, I think a lot of these people, these kids are cowards. I mean, to go and attack a school full of kids.
They are. I agree.
And I don't think they would have the training. If you were someone who's been trained, military training or combat training, how to use a knife. I mean, I took, karate and self-defense, and you don't stab people. You slash them.
Right.
Because you don't want the knife stuck in them. You want to keep it moving. But, I mean, unless these persons been out there practicing in his backyard, I just don't think they're going to be, just not going to happen.
But it still happens. It still would happen. If you took all the guns away, they'll find another avenue, another thing to cause, destruction or get their point across. So you take the guns out of the situation, you're still dealing with someone who's mentally unstable.
And how long have you been a member of the NRA?
I'm not a member of the NRA.
Oh, it sounds like an NRA excuse. And I mean, we have both.
But it's not, Dan. It's not an excuse. It's not an excuse. You're looking at it at the wrong end of the rifle. You're looking at the victim side. I'm looking at the actual person who started it. What if he went in there with just regular pistols, or a hunting rifle, something that is actually legal to have in many states at the age of 16, at the many ages, at the age of 18. You can have a bolt action rifle and still cause lots of damage. And most of the time, believe it or not, Dan, your bolt action rifles are a larger capacity bullet than your AR-15. Have you fired an AR-15? Have you ever fired an AR-15, Dan? Oh, he's dead. I'll wait. I can't hear you. You must be on mute. You're on mute. I can't hear you.
Oh, hello?
You're on mute, so I didn't hear any of that stuff.
Oh, okay. I don't know what I said, but I probably said you're 100% wrong.
No, the question that I asked you was, have you ever fired an AR-15?
No, I have not fired an AR-15.
All right. Have you fired a bolt?
I haven't fired in. The only thing I have fired, a pistol and a 22 and a 30-30 Winchester.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, but a bolt action rifle, have you seen the bullet that goes into that thing?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Have you seen a bullet that goes into an AR-15?
They're probably similar bullets, but
No, they're not. They're they're totally different sizes. One's about 4.5 inches long. The other one's about maybe 2.5 inches long.
And how many shots can you get off with a bolt action in a minute?
I don't know. Ask Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah.
He holds the record, doesn't he?
Yeah. And our history books are right on as far as that goes. Yeah.
So, and this is kind of morbid here, but a bolt action bullet could possibly travel through 3 kids in one shot. 3 kids. It'll pass through. That's what it's meant. It's meant to do a clean kill on an animal, meaning it doesn't go into the animal and stop. It goes right through the animal. An AR-15.
So your idea is to just leave the guns exactly the way they are. Don't change anything.
Yes. And change the way we handle the mentally unstable.
Oh.
And get them the help they need.
Speaking of mentally unstable, the things going okay with you? No. How is Amy's after her fall? How's she doing?
She's mentally unstable.
Okay. Well, I can understand the main reason why.
But honestly, Dan, think about it. I mean, if you can fix the people that think that they have to go out there and outside of shooting, I'm going to kill somebody. Let's change that narrative and say I'm mentally unstable. I want to kill someone to show how mentally unstable I am, or I think that
these people don't think they're mentally unstable. They think that what they're doing. These people. They write. The guy in Buffalo wrote a big manifest. Did he ever say he was mentally unstable?
Well, no, but they're in the system, Dan. If we had a medical system, a healthcare system that could diagnose and treat these people in their early stages before it even got out of control, or let them not get swept underneath the rug or just pushed on through society. Oh, this kid's a little weird. Let's just push him down the road. Let's let the next can, take that can and push it down the road and let that next person take care of them. I don't have the education.
20 years from now, we'd stop all these mass shootings.
I wouldn't say stop it. I said they would drastically lower.
And I think a lot of these people don't even have, you'd need a time machine to go back to Florida in, 1980s and check people out.
I don't
see that.
I don't know what that means, but all right.
I'm talking about you.
Oh.
In Florida. And yeah. No. Well, you bring up an interesting point. I don't agree with it, but we both have different views on this. This is why we enjoy talking.
Well, look at the rules and stuff in Italy, because I was sitting there and I was doing the same thing. I'm like going, what other countries have the right to bear arms? And when I say bear arms, the right to actually own guns. They have it worded different in their constitutions and stuff. But since 1943, since after World War II, Italy has redesigned their whole entire constitution based around somewhat of the guns and being able to have and own guns. So it was an interesting read that I was going through, and they were going through all the steps, the difference between Italy and the United States and what we offer and what they offer. And the reason, how many shooting deaths did they have in Italy last year? I think it was like 2 or 3 not mass shootings, but what they quote unquote consider mass shooting. As to the United States, of course it's out of control in the United States, but then you ask everything else across the board, the boxes are checked off in both columns except for the mental health. The way we treat mental health patients as to where they treat mental health patients or the mentally ill.
Yeah, compared to every other country, this is not happening on this scale. It's, it is a huge problem that needs to be addressed.
Well, and you didn't want to, but you were reinforcing. You're saying it doesn't happen anywhere else, and there's a reason behind that, and that's because of their healthcare system. Now, granted, our health.
And you're looking at one country. What about all the other countries that don't have this problem? What are they doing?
No. I was just looking at this one country because they were talking about Italy and how free they are with. They were the closest ones and comparable to what we have here in the United States and what people overseas have. Now, overseas, there's some countries that aren't allowed to have only but a pistol with a certain size magazine, and all these other things, but they still have weapons over there. They still have an armory over there, but they don't have.
Are they having the crime and the death? I mean, if
no, they don't, because it's a different structure system as far as, one, the way they punish people, or their criminal system is totally different than what we have over here. And then two is their healthcare system to take care of these people before it gets to that level. That's the point I was trying to make.
Oh, well, I will have to read up on that. And I'm sure someone that wants to keep guns looked around and found something that tailor-made and fits their narrative, but there's so many other countries that don't have these shootings, and that's because they don't have the guns and they have stricter laws.
They don't have, then, Dan, that they don't have the shootings, but they still have mass casualties of people going completely insane and doing other methods that they have accessibility to. Whether it be bombing, whether it be knife, whether it be Christ, there was a guy running around downtown. I think it was, I forget, and he had a machete and he was hitting people left and right, just running right down the middle of these packed little streets and just whopping people with machetes. Killed 4 people. So that's what I'm saying. There's something. If it's not a gun, it's something else. A loaf of bread. We're gonna ban loaves of bread now? No. Well, we're gonna ban loaves of bread in your house because you're not allowed to have carbs.
Yeah, because of the carbs. Yes, so maybe that's the answer. We'll ban bread.
All right, Dan. Anything else before I let you go?
No, that is good, and I will catch you later.
All right.
All right. Bye now.
Bye. Stick around. You'll listen to Deacon Live. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Make sure you follow us on all your social networks, and the way you do that is go over to Prophet Radio, PROPHET Radio. Click on social contacts, and you can see all the links that links us to you and you to us as well. And don't forget, for all the musical artists that you hear on Deacon Live that we showcase here, you can find the full-length songs over at Prophet Radio as well. Just click on the little bar that says Be Heard. I'm sorry, not Be Heard. Click on the little bar that says, little drop-down menu that says Music Heard on, and you can hear the full-length songs while you're over there. If you like them, go ahead and show them some love as well. And in just a few minutes, we're going to talk to TEF. In just a few minutes, we're going to talk to TEF XL and find out what's in just a few minutes. We're going to have on the phone with us in just 1 second. And later on in the program, we're going to have TEF XL. We'll talk to him and find out what's going on in his world. He is a hip hop artist. And stick around because we're going to be talking to TEF XL, a hip hop artist. Damn it. And later on in the program, we're going to have hip-hop musical artist TEF XL, so stick around for that as well. Now, last year, I had a story on the Deacon Live podcast. Yes, we've been doing this for almost 7 years now, so if you go back through our archives and stuff, all those archives all the old shows are still available over at iHeartRadio, iTunes, and all that, so we appreciate you guys catching up, kind of streaming us. Some of you binge listen to us on long drives and stuff. We appreciate that, and hopefully we can entertain you at the same time. I was talking about a lady who was complaining that every morning she found a McDonald's coffee cup thrown right on the corner of her property there. She's got a four-way stop out front of her house, and her house is the corner lot, and a coffee cup was always there every morning at whatever time that was. I don't remember the whole details. I just remember the gist of the whole story. And then come to find out, this guy who used to be one of her associates who got fired from his job thought she had something to do with it and hated her. So every morning he would drive by and throw coffee cups in her yard. Monday morning coffee, finish it. I got to throw it up. I got to throw it in Catherine's car. I got to throw it in Teresa's yard here up at the stop sign. So he did that for several years, I think over 7 years. Well, they finally went to court. They finally had a trial. And this is what happened. Here's the update. The 76-year-old New York man has issued a formal apology after he was accused of orchestrating a plot against his former colleague that saw him dump hundreds and hundreds of used McDonald's coffee cups in the victim's front yard over several years. According to the Buffalo News, Larry Pope from Hamburg has to pen a letter of an apology, physically pen to paper, to his former co-worker Edward Patton after he was caught in the act back in April of 2021. He said, "I would like to apologize to Mr. and Mrs. Payton for the compulsive behavior of littering. I meant no harm," Pope wrote, according to the news outlet. "I am very remorseful for any problems that I might have caused you and your family. I have learned a valuable lesson in my poor judgment." No, you're not. You're 76 years old. If you haven't learned poor judgment by now, you're never going to. Pope also sent a check for around $2,800 to cover the expense that the Pattons incurred of the course of trying to apprehend this mysterious litterer. It brings to close a saga that began several years back when the Pattons became aware of someone tossing empty or half-filled disposable cups, which occasionally contain cigarette butts. Oh God, who else knows what's in there? Onto the front yard of the property at their Versailles home in Hamburg. The Pattons told the news outlet at one point they were able to fill 10 large plastic bags with the discarded cups. Littering represents a serious concern in the United States, and the charity Keep America Beautiful in 2020 estimated that there are 20 billion pieces of litter that are dumped along the nation's highway, and so on and so forth. So, thing goes on and on. He was an ex-disgruntled employee of Cheryl Payton, and so his way of getting back at her was to throw his old coffee cups in her yard, and now he's had to pen a letter to her, pen to paper, physical pen to paper, and write her, "I'm sorry, Graham. You know, I'm sorry," and then pay $2,800 for, they probably had to do security cameras and a bunch of other stuff. So who knows what they paid for? I would ask for more, but who knows? It's just littering. That takes dedication, though. Now, something that's been going on right now with our kids in America, now, not the gun shooting, it's not as serious, but it is a serious offense in itself. Number of children are overdosing on a popular over-the-counter sleep aid has skyrocketing. A new study from the researchers of the Children's Hospital in Michigan found that a number of children who have been accidentally poisoned by melatonin has jumped 530% now over the last decade, largely kids under 5. So are the parents giving them to them? Let's find out a little bit more in this article. Where am I at here? There we go. When kids take too much melatonin, not surprisingly, they become increasingly sleepy and often become difficult to arouse, but in several cases, kids can actually die from it. Why don't they just put wake up instead of arouse? That sounds creepy when you're talking about kids. Many more adults have trouble sleeping, probably due to the increased stress, like me, especially during the pandemic or troubling times in the family, are turning to melatonin, which is easily obtained to help them sleep. But this means many more hands can get a hold of this drug. Now, they've made them look like little candies and stuff. My wife likes to take the gummies. My concern about, this is me just personally standing on my soapbox here. Hold on, let me get it out here. Sit right on it. I don't stand on it, I sit on it. And my concern is if you're replacing something that happens in your body naturally, then your body's naturally not going to produce that thing anymore. Your body does produce melatonin by itself, naturally. So if you naturally or artificially substitute what's naturally being produced in your body's not going to produce it itself. So what happens when you take the melatonin away? Now you're up again, you're even twice as wide awake. So I try to take melatonin not on a regular basis. Sometimes people say you got to take it 5 days in a row and then wean yourself off of it. Whatever it is, it makes me nervous. Sleeping pills just make me nervous. I don't want to close my eyes and never wake up anymore. I think I've got a song there somewhere. Parents are urged to treat melatonin like they would any other medication. Instead, by keeping it in the bedside table or the night drawer, keep it out of reach of children. So what they're having is kids are getting a hold of these. They look like little gummies, little gummy bears or gummy worms or whatever they are, but they're melatonin. Melatonin and gummy melatonins and your gummy weed, your edibles. Keep those out of the kids' reach. Come on. Parents, be responsible. If you're going to have kids, pay attention to your kids. you know, I don't leave bags of chocolate, you know, 3 inches or 3 foot from the floor because you know why? I know my dog's going to eat it. A bag of chocolate somewhere, where do you put the chocolate? Out of the reach of the dogs. I think the medicine and stuff should fall in the same category, unless you got, you know, Mickey MacGyver over there and he's, you know, stacking up stools like you see in the cartoons. Now, this scene is straight from a cartoon in itself, but on a serious note. The fast food and fun times seem to go great together with all the things that have been going on here in the pandemic and from 2017 to 2020, fast food people or employees are getting a bad rap. There's fights going on, there's robberies going on, and all this other stuff. You don't need more shit happening inside your fast food places. Some people have thrown like Splenda packets because their order's not right. I saw a video the other day. Lady said her soup was too hot as she's holding it at the register. And the lady was like, well, do you want me to refund your money? And she's like, no, here. And threw the whole soup in her face. Yeah, hot shit. But at late in the evening of Saturday, May 30th, this past Saturday, manager at Bainbridge, Georgia, Popeyes was arrested and charged with battery and cruelty to children. Now, hold on. It gets even weirder. 22-year-old Marquise J. Shone Smith was witnessed slapping the cell phone out of the hand of a co-worker following a brief verbal tirade between Smith and is seen gesticulating wildly. Was seen to taunt the co-worker and advance toward the cowering of the co-worker, who is 17 years old. So there's your minor thing. So here we go. We were absolutely horrified like the rest of the public, Popeyes said on Twitter. The employee responsible for assaulting was immediately terminated by the franchisee. We are working with local authorities and the franchisees to ensure the impact of the team member has the support she needs to fully recover and the correct representation, because someone's going to get sued on this one. Violence of any kind is no place in the workplace at Popeyes restaurants. Well, duh. Like there is an acceptance. Even if someone comes in with a gun, you pull out a gun and blast the person that's trying to rob you, the person who works for the Popeyes is going to get in trouble anyways. We are still collecting evidence and making a game plan right now, the attorney said for the 17-year-old. So, let's see. But it's unacceptable in any case for an employee to be subject to physical and verbal abuse. Verbal abuse, some people just need a good yelling. I'm sorry. You know, hey, you fucking suck. No, I don't. Yes, you do. So if you want to see this video, go over to our social contacts and you can see this as we post it right here. I know, change the views and stuff. So here we go. Hold on. So it's a manager, and he's 20 years old, and he's a little guy. I'm going to say he's a little guy. He looks like this guy's not going to grow anymore. You know, you can just tell this guy's not going to grow anymore. This guy's not growing anymore. Looks like the girl standing at the register, and she's on her cell phone. Looks like she's trying to clock out. She's got her sweatshirt on. She's getting ready to go. She's still got the Popeyes apron on, but it looks like she's ready to go home for the day. And the manager, little guy, has this, little guy complex. So if you want to see this video, jump on over there and you can see this in real time as we're talking about it here. Let's see if I can blow this up without ruining anything. Here we go. You ready? Go.
You're not going to notify nobody else. Right where we're all playing. You're not going to notify nobody else.
So he takes the headphones off the counter. So they're face to face almost, butting in, and the cook from around back comes around. And he's like going, "Hey man, relax." And she's like, I don't care. I don't care about this. I don't care about this. I just, basically I'm done. I want to go home. I don't know what the start of the fight. Of course, the video takes place in mid-fight. So here we go. Oh, and he just reaches right around, wide open hand slaps her face, the side that's got the phone on it, and she drops the phone, and then he starts bucking up on her. He's doing the Sugar Ray. He's doing the Sugar Ray where he's winding his fist up. Chicken's burning in the back, guys. Hey, get the chicken out of the fryer. So now they're out behind the counter. Looks like a customer. Big dude. Pushing the manager back saying, man, you're wrong. Stand back. I think that's the guy from the Michigan gun held up. He's just standing there with his hands in his pocket, not doing anything. Just standing there. I think it's the same guy. I'm not wrong, he kept saying. I'm not wrong, these kids. I'm not wrong, these kids. But yeah, he ended up slapping the cell phone right, and I'll play it one more time so you guys can see it. Get on my face. The manager, bam, smacks her right in the face. What are you going to do? That's the manager saying, what are you going to do after I smacked you in the face? Come on, people. This girl, not for nothing, you're talking about $15 an hour. This girl deserves $15 an hour. Unfortunately, because of what's going on here, she's probably going to get about $15 million, and then she'll be settled for the rest of her life. She doesn't have to work at Popeyes anymore. Oh, geez. But come on, people. Get it together. All right, guys, stick around. When we come back, we're going to talk to TEF XL. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. A Jacksonville native rapper known by his raw, hard-hitting flow and unique music. Let me start something different. Sorry. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Make sure you follow us on all your social networks. And the way you do that is go to prophetradio.com and click on social networks. And if you want something for free, go over there and click on free swag. We'll send you out some free stuff. Fill out the little form there, and we'll mail them out to you as well. Now, a TEF XL, a Jackson native. Welcome back to Deacon Live. You want something for free? Of course you do. We'll give you something for free. The way you do that is go over to Prophet Radio, PROPHET Radio. Click on free swag, and we'll fill out the little form. We'll send you out some stuff as soon as we can. Nope. Welcome back to Deacon Live. You want something for free? Of course you do. Fill out that little form over there at Prophet Radio, and we'll send it out to you as soon as we can. Oh, shit, fuck, I said it twice. Welcome back to Deacon Live. You want something for free? Of course you do. And the way you get that is go over to Prophet Radio, PROPHET Radio. Click on the free swag section and fill out the little form there, and we'll send it out to you. For those overseas, we send it out once a month. So it might take a little bit longer to get out there to you, all the people over there in Europe and Central America and stuff. We appreciate you guys as well. So it might just take a little bit longer. So bear with us as we send those out to you as well. Now, on the phone with us, we have a Jacksonville native rapper known for his raw, hard-hitting flow. Welcome back to Deacon Live. You want something for free? Of course you do. And the way you do that is go to Prophet Radio, PROPHET Radio. Click on the free swag section. And while you're there, make sure you fill out the little form. And I can't even think now. Stressing out. Welcome back to Deacon Live. You want something for free? Of course you do. The way you do that is go over to Prophet Radio, PROPHET Radio. Click on the free swag section. And while you're there, we want to hear from you as well. Click on the little Be Heard. Opens up a microphone on your tablet, on your PC, on your smart device. Speak right into the microphone. You can be anonymous if you want. And it comes right to our email box, and we'll play it on this podcast if you get it in soon enough. If not, we'll play it on the very next podcast as well. Now, my next guest is a Jacksonville native rapper who's known for his hard-hitting flow and unique music production. On the phone with us right now, hip-hop artist TEF XL. TEF, how are you?
Hey, what's happening, Travis, man? I'm doing great. I can't complain at all, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. And now, can I call you TEF for sure, or would you prefer TEF XL?
Man, call me TEF. You know, that's the XL. Well, I gained that name a little bit later to differentiate because there were so many people that went by TEF or Teflon. And as an artist, you're always looking for that differentiator. And so the XL came because obviously everything I do, everything I pursue is bigger than life. And so why not be extra large with it?
Sure. Now, where did you get the name TEF?
Yeah. So TEF, honestly, was given to me. I'm originally from Jacksonville, Florida. And so early on in my life, in my teenage years, I found my way into the streets. And because I was in the streets, some of the activities led me down a path of, hood to hood fights. And then it turned into, we went from fighting into gun wars. And so The name TEF came because in a couple of those instances where we had these rivalries with other hood gangs, if you will, I was shot, and I've been shot, twice. One was, in towards my abdomen, and then the other one was in both my legs. So both my legs were broken. And so after that, though, the outcome was suspected that I wasn't able to walk again, or I had a near-death experience when I was shot in the abdomen. And but I bounced back from those. And so when I returned, and started, on my new path and my journey, people started calling me Teflon just out of the blue because of my experiences and how I was able to bounce back so quick. So that name was given to me by friends, and I've stuck with it, obviously through my artist career.
Now, I'm born and raised in Orlando, Florida, so we both have something in common, being Florida boys. Now, were you born in Jacksonville? You were born in Jacksonville.
No, man.
Oh, sorry.
No, my father was in the military, so we moved around a lot. So to be candid with you, I lived up and down the East Coast. From Ohio, New York, Pennsylvania, Virginia. Lived in Orlando for a little while. Got a lot of family in Orlando, actually. And then we settled in Jacksonville right before I started middle school.
So do you claim Jacksonville as your home, your main home? Like when people say, hey, where are you from? You go Jacksonville, or is there a home that you say that this is my home?
Yeah, I say Jacksonville is my home.
Well, we'll take you.
Really, my formative years. It definitely is, man. So Florida, big up to the FLA. And so that's my home.
We'll definitely take you, Tef. Now, tell me about this new single you got coming out. It's called R&R. Tell me how this song came to be.
Yeah, R&R. It can obviously different things for different people, but for me, all about reflection and no regrets. And so R&R is, as I mentioned to you, in my formative years, I went through a lot of challenges in finding my right path and that I wanted to take in life. And so R&R is a gritty description of the things that I experienced and also the things that I saw in a day in the life of a street hustler, and how you overcome those things in a real, descriptive way. And so R&R takes you on that journey. The feedback I've gotten is it really it gives people a good depiction of what it is, what it means to be in the thick of things, and also see things from a detailed standpoint. But also the vibe is still great. Getting a lot of uptake from all the fan base, and gaining new followers every day. So I'm really happy with where we came from with that. It was produced by Marco Solo and engineered by Mac Tracks, my producers. I have a team of producers. And then my executive producer is Wax. Now,
along with R&R, you also have another single out called Deuces, and you have an upcoming album called Code Switch. When is that going to be released?
Yeah. So Code Switch, we're planning on the latter part of the summer, July, August timeframe, to release Code Switch. Probably around July the 22nd. I am a geek around the master numbers, and so I really believe the 22nd is the master number for me. And so if you look at where I typically release my singles and my projects, they're usually on the 22nd. And so that takes me into the Deuces. Obviously, with Deuces, being a fan of mastery, Deuces was recognizing that in the way of our life, no matter the challenges that we go through, it's a simple symbol, but it gives people a lot of peace. And quite frankly, when you see someone chuck the deuces or throw up their two fingers, that's what they're saying to you, peace, or hey, what's up? And so when I went into writing the song, what I talked about was the challenges of this music industry, the challenges that I've been through personally in my life, people's opinions, but at the end of the day, it's all peace. Hey, you got your opinions are like, buttholes, we all have one. So you keep doing you, I'm gonna do me. And so that's what Deuces is about.
Now, once you got off the street and you kind of turned your life into a positive direction, what actually made you lead towards music and getting into what the kids call the rap game?
Oh man, Travis, I was fortunate enough that that poetry and rap was always part of my my foundation. It was a way for me to land on my thoughts of what I was experiencing, what I was seeing. And that started, at 11 or 12 years old. And so it's always stuck with me. It's been, you hear people talk about reflective journals. Rap has always been more of a reflective journal for me. And so as I continued to grow, it never left me. And on my journey, as I left the streets, the things that I experienced were still with me, of course. And using poetry and rap as a form of me to communicate my experiences and also talk about where I'm going as setting out my blueprint for my life. It's just been the staple of how I go about it. So music for me, or rap for me, is just a common day occurrence.
We're talking to TEF XL from my home state of Florida. He now claims Jacksonville as his home. So what is some of your biggest musical influences as far as your style and your technique as far as your rap?
Gosh, I grew up in the 80s, 90s, era. And so I'd be remiss not to call out, artists that could give you the street depiction, like Cool G Rap or Rakim, NWA on the West Coast, Ice Cube for sure outside of NWA, Dr. Dre. As we move up in the 90s, you come to the likes of Notorious B.I.G. from New York. You got your Jay-Z's from the New York. You got Outkast from the South. You got Goody Mob from the South. So as you continue to move into different genres or different regions, obviously you got sounds. Gosh, man, I would say it's the melting pot of all those things that have really kind of helped me hone in on my craft. I think it's probably, I would say that people give me the feedback that my style is unique because probably I'm so open and I listen to so many different artists. I mean, you'll catch me even listening to Chris Stapleton because of his soulful voice and things of that nature. So, I go to genre. I'm a music enthusiast, and sometimes it bleeds into the music that I put out. And
I think being in Florida is a weird state in itself because we really don't have an accent. We really don't have anything other than sunny beaches and sunshine. Music and everything, it's just everyone gets along with all the different kinds of music. You've got your Atlanta rap, you've got even your Louisiana rap. Florida really doesn't have a style. So like you said, it is a melting pot. So I can see that in your style where you've taken some from the West Coast, you've taken some from the Dirty South and all the way up there in New York. I can tell that in your style. So yeah, Florida, it's a weird state, and I think you've captured it in your style of delivery. Now, who are you listening to right now?
Gosh, man, I tell you what, man, there's just a lot of artists out there. I tell you who pops up in my ears is Ray Vaughn off of the West Coast. He's with TDE. I would say Baby Kim, JID, J. Cole, of course, Kendrick Lamar, of course, are some top artists I think that come to mind for me. I'll listen to some Drake like everyone else, as we continue to move. But I would say those are probably my rotation. I try to keep the music to a low when I'm in my creative space so it doesn't influence me so much. But, those are some artists that pop in my head right off the bat. Now,
outside of rapping, and do you produce your own music? Or you have a gentleman or a couple guys that help you out?
Yeah. I have a team of producers. I'm definitely involved in production process, but you got to know where your skills are great and where they're not so great. And so I'm big on leveraging the team as much as possible. So we call it Team TEF. And so Mac Trax is my main producer. Marco Solo is a producer of mine. I've definitely gotten tracks from Kill Switch, from Maximus Music Studios in Charlotte, North Carolina. So there's a plethora of different producers that have leaned in on my projects. And I forgot to mention, Travis, that Code Switch is 2 volumes. So Code Switch 1 is dropping the end of the summer. And then Code Switch 2, what we're saying is the fourth quarter of this year, if not the first quarter of 2023, will drop volume 2 for Code Switch.
So a 2-disc set. Do they do disc anymore? I guess they do somewhat.
I guess, if you want it, right? It can be customized and made available for you, but obviously we're on all streaming platforms and YouTube. Of course.
Yeah, gone are the days of selling tapes and CDs out of the trunk of your car.
I know, right?
So outside of rapping and everything, what other talents do you have? Are you a proliferate painter? Do you write novels? What else does TEF XL do?
Yeah, I tell you, man. Personally in my career, I've grown from, a street entrepreneur to a business executive. So I'm a business executive with a Fortune 500 company today. My journey to get there was from the streets. Went to college, got my doctorate in pharmacy, and that's taken me down so many different paths. I do motivating speaking engagements on request. I do plan on writing books at some point in my life as well, Travis. So I think I'm a mastery of multiple things. I'm on a mastery journey itself. It's an interesting book by Robert Adams that talks about the different phases that we go through to achieve mastery in life and mastery in leadership. So I'd say leadership is one of those fundamental principles that I carry with me on my day-to-day journey.
Now you got Code Switch coming out, Volume 1 at the end of this summer, and then Volume 2 is coming out later this year, if not the beginning of next year. Outside of that, what else is next for you?
Yeah, I say, Epic and Extraordinary is our company. What we're focused on is building a platform and a blueprint to actually bring other artists through. I've got an artist that's partnering with me on that journey, Wax. He's actually getting ready to drop some music as well. And then my hope is that we can create a venue for other artists out of Jacksonville and out of the Southeast region that are willing to take the journey with us to help them grow as well.
So what's some of your biggest challenges that you're coming across right now? Now, I know you're an older gentleman. You're probably the same age as I am, saying that you grew up in the rap game in the 80s and stuff. So did I. I love every single one of those artists. I didn't hear KRS-One, but that's another story. We can get into that later.
KRS-One, no. Hey, I'd be remiss if I didn't love me some KRS-One Boogie Down Productions. Come on.
So what's some of your biggest challenges that you're coming across now?
Man, I'd say, the biggest challenge is staying true to what your passion is for me. As obviously as we get wiser, we realize and we see our passion a lot clearer. What wakes you up every day, and what is the one thing that no matter what time it is throughout the day, you have the energy to do, and focus on that. And life will pull you in a lot of different ways. So my challenge is to stay focused on what fills my bucket, and I stay focused on that. And I think that's what's got me continuing to make music, come from a space of authenticity, speak about my true experiences. Code Switch is a collage of, not only the growth of, a young man into a distinguished gentleman, but also the challenges that come with that, social justice, relationships, in and out of relationships and the turmoil that comes with that, raising a young man and what it's like for, being a black man in America to raise a black man in America. And so we cover the gamut. And my hope is that people can walk away with a deep appreciation of the artistry in the craft.
We're talking to TEF XL all the way from Jackson, Florida, my home state. I have a challenge for you. Are you ready for this? I'm reading your bio. Yeah. It says you started beatboxing at the age of 12. So, I got to hear something. I got to hear something.
Man, I put that down. I'm kind of rusty, Travis. Man, you got to give me a little bit more. Give me some space. Let me practice on it, then I come back.
All right.
And then I tell you what, if you're gonna challenge me, I'm gonna challenge you to rap to it, because that's how I started. It was beatboxing, and then it was like we had these beatbox battles, and then it was like, well, somebody got to put some words to it, and then we started putting words to it, and it just grew from there.
I don't know if you've been I don't know if you've been watching the news, but they have these huge beatbox competitions that are just incredible, the sounds that these guys are creating. I mean, it's anywhere from it sounds like dubstep all the way to just the old school Fat Boys beat, but they have them up on stage, man. Big competitions. I don't know if you're aware of that. You might want to look into it. So
I got to look into it, man. But there's nobody can top Dougie Fresh, man. Come on, man.
He is the classic. He is the originator. So where can our listeners find you? You have websites, and if you're going to be on tour anywhere, give me some dates as well if you're going to be out.
Yeah, so tour dates are coming. But you can find me on my IG handle, of course, which is TEF XL. You can find me on YouTube, same TEF XL, Facebook, TEF XL. So we're on all the social handles, TikTok, TEF XL. Look us up. If you follow, I'd love to connect with you. Please drop me a line, shoot me a DM so I can respond to you. Yeah, so I really appreciate the opportunity to chat with you, Travis.
We are talking to hip-hop artist TEF XL. TEF, I appreciate the conversation, and good luck in the future to you.
Hey, thank you so much, boss.
Thanks. Welcome back to Deacon Live. You want to hear some of the artists that you hear on Deacon Live? You want to hear the full-length song? Go over to Prophet Radio, PROPHET Radio. Click on Music Heard on Deacon Live, and make sure you show them support as well. We appreciate all those bands out there that... Welcome back to Deacon Live. Don't forget, for all the music artists that we showcase here on Deacon Live, if you want to hear the full-length songs, by all means, go over to Prophet Radio, PROPHET Radio. Click on Music Heard On, and you can hear all the showcase music that we have here on Deacon Live, and make sure you show them some support as well while you're over there. And while you're over there, get yourself some free swag. Fill out that little form there. We'll mail you out some stickers, some magnets, some buttons, and so on and so forth. Now, June is Pride Month. And a lot of companies out there have been doing what they're trying to do is hold up their end of the bargain as far as, being part of society and part of, what's going on in the world. And Pride Month is one of the things that a lot of these companies are doing. For Pride Month, different businesses from all over the United States attempt to cash in on the moment as well. The marketing campaigns consist of obligatory stupid things that make absolutely no sense, from banks supporting pride flags outside their windows and restaurants advertising gay-themed desserts, like Walmart was doing gay-themed ice creams and stuff. They were doing the Juneteenth ice cream at one time. I don't know what became of that. Some advertisements are so outlandish, they feel satirical. Burger King is one of those companies trying to do a little bit too much hard to ally themselves with the Pride movement. Burger King's newest menu item has stirred up social media buzz ever since its release. Now, this is only in Austria. The fast food chain will be serving the Pride Whopper, named after the LGBTQIA plus month. Jesus, I don't know. Instead of the standard Whopper, which comes with the top bun and the bottom bun, the Whopper now in Austria will come with 2 top buns or 2 bottom buns. Now, I don't know if you know anything about top and bottom. Not that I do. I'm just educate yourself, people. A top bun does not want to be with another top bun, if you catch my drift. I'm sorry, all you 11-year-olds out there listening to the program. Cover your ears or ask your mommy what I'm talking about. And a bottom bun does not want to be with a bottom bun. So for the most part, the Whopper already is set for Pride Month. You have a top bun who matches perfectly with a bottom bun. Now, over in Austria, you can get a Whopper that's got 2 top buns and 2 bottom buns. So basically, it's the Pride Whopper. Now, here's what I don't understand. So if you're ordering this bun in Austria and they go, I'd like a number 2, please. Would you like fries, or what size fries do you want? I'd like a large. What drink do you want? Because sometimes they do the drinks behind me. I'd like a Diet Coke or Pepsi, depending on what they have in there. And are you a top bun or a bottom bun? Well, that's a little personal, don't you think? I would be offended. I would be offended if I was a LGBTQ plus community and they asked me if I was a top bun or bottom bun. It's none of your business. You see how that feels? Do you see how that feels? People out there, I'm just saying, just throwing it out there. Makes you feel a little dirty. Makes you feel a little weird. Makes you feel a little bit like you've been invaded, or they're being a little intrusive as far as your sexual desires, right? Just saying, are you a top bun or bottom bun? What kind of bun would you like on your hamburger, on your Whopper? Just give me the Union Bacon Cheeseburger. That's all I want. Now, speaking of top buns and bottom buns, the Carolina Panthers. Now, for those of you who don't know, we broadcast just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, beautiful town we like to call Marshville. We sit on about 22 some odd acres. We got horses, chicken, cattle, dogs, goats, cats, you name it, we got it. Emus, probably soon. I don't know, somewhere. We'll probably have those coming up here soon. But our national football team here in Charlotte, North Carolina, actually the Carolinas, they make their home in Charlotte, is the Carolina Panthers. They kind of represent South and North Carolina. It's a weird thing. I've never understood that, but all right, I'll just go with it. And something else we're going to have to go with. Justine Lindsay, 29, made the announcement on Instagram at the end of May about joining the Carolina Panthers cheerleading squad. Yay for Justine. Congratulations. I would like to thank the beautiful talented dancers who supported me along the way with my alumni Top Cats is what they call them. The Top Cats family and friends for your love and support. I would not have gotten this in this moment in my life if it wasn't for your support. Now you say, okay, well, this young lady, Justine, 29, made the announcement on her Instagram that she made it on the cheerleading squad. The NFL history is being made in Charlotte with the first cheerleader who is transgender. Yes, Justine Lindsay is a transgender, the first NFL cheerleader. So it's going to be a transleader in the NFL. First one. And it's going to be here in Charlotte. So I don't know how that's going to be received. I wish her well. I hope no harm comes to her because, one, you got Charlotte, football, and a transgender cheerleader. I mean, I don't mind the male cheerleaders. I mean, I've seen, what is that? What was the documentary with the cheerleaders? I think it was called Cheer, where they followed Navarro and all them and the rivals and stuff. Male cheerleaders are great. Female cheerleaders are even better. But when you have a trans cheerleader, and this, I'm sorry, Justine, you look like you weigh 98 pounds. So they're going to, do they toss you in the air? I don't know. Do they do tossing in NFL? But she is. Congratulations. She's going to be the first transgender NFL cheerleader, which is a big deal during the Pride Month. Now, I know there was a time where you had the first black black cheerleader, female cheerleader. I mean, there's a first time for everything. But there was a movie many, many years ago that starred Burt Reynolds, and I forget who else is in that movie, but Burt Reynolds is the only one I knew. And their cheerleaders, it's called The Longest Yard, if you don't know what I'm talking about. And the cheerleaders were basically the inmates dressed up in drag on the cheerleading squad. So it's nothing new that we've seen, but you can see they've made fun of that, where men dressing up as women cheerleading for the boys and stuff. I just hope that she gets well recepted and no harm or anything comes to her. I don't know. When you're the first, a lot of people are going to look at you different. So you, my dear, are carrying a large weight on your shoulder. Now, someone who's carrying a large weight on their shoulder, if you want to see this video, now's the chance to go over to ProphetRadio.com, click on social contacts, and for every podcast we do, we have matching video as well. There's me waving the camera, and God almighty, one more date. I rode the bike for 4 miles today, up and down hills. I'm going to be totally ripped. Oh, man, I'm looking at myself in the camera here. All right, enough about me. Here's a video that you should see. You have to see it to believe it. Disney employee goes viral for the worst possible interruption. Hey, are you hoping to be seen as pretty much the biggest jerk ever, or at least the biggest, smuggest, most utterly punchable face in the last couple of weeks? Well, guess what? This guy has already taken that award away from you. Imagine it. You're visiting Disneyland in Paris with your significant other, where you plan to propose to them. You spend a lot of money on the engagement ring at the park. You ask the employee permission to make a proposal on a platform with Sleeping Beauty's castle in the background behind you as a beautiful backdrop. The employee gives you the okay, and then you got to get up enough nerd to ask. You get down on one knee, you bring her up on the platform, and right as you're doing that, the employee runs right in the middle of your proposal, snatches the ring, and tells you can't do it here. Well, that's exactly what happened to this couple in Paris. So if you want to see this video, go over to Prophet Radio, and you can see this in real time as we're talking about. Let me blow this up. So here he goes. Big guy. He's a big guy. And he's on the platform. Well, sometimes they have those little platforms with a couple stairs on them where they'll have the characters come out doing something, but during the day, nothing's really going on. So he asked permission. Hey, do you mind if I jump up on the platform and propose to my wife, or propose to my soon-to-be wife? So here he goes. He has the ring. He runs right in between. This dude runs right in between them. He's got the Mickey Mouse ears on. He's an employee. snatches the ring out of the guy's hand as it's, he's on his knees, and literally says, okay, you need to walk down these steps. You shouldn't be up here. And he's like going, well, I just asked you if I could be up here. So here he goes. He's like, what? I just asked you to be up here. He's at the bottom of the steps saying, nope, nope, nope. Hands the ring back to the guy. And this is a big, big dude.
Yes, that's great, but over here she's going to be even better.
Yes, you can't be up there. Here's another angle of it. Gets down on his knees. She's, oh my God, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And just as she reaches for the ring, this guy comes by, snatches the ring, and says, can you walk this way? Follow me this way, sir. And they're both standing on top of this platform going, hey, we were going to propose and stuff up here? No, guess not. What are all these things in my way?
Great, but over here she's going to be even better.
Over here, you hear the audience booing. Listen.
That's great, but over here she's going to be even better.
Boo. All right. The video was posted on Reddit as in the category of I'm a total piece of shit, and heading towards piece of shit destroyed my best friend's moment. He asked permission beforehand, as you can see in the video. After the Disney employee grabs the ring box out of the man's hand, the proposer tries to explain to him that he asked permission, but the employee interrupts him again, saying, yes, but it'll be greater over here. It will be even better. Newsweek reached out to Disney, who confirmed the video was taken at Disneyland Paris, which will probably close down in a week or two because they're not doing anything over there. The spokesperson told Newsweek, we regret that this was handled, and we have apologized to the couple involved in offering to make it right. They're going to get their whole wedding paid for, I guarantee you. Reddit responders passionate to the videos and was trying to find the employee, but was unable to find the unidentified employee, I guess is what I'm saying. However, let's see. Disney employees are not allowed to touch or remove anything from an employee at any given time. So he broke several rules. He took the ring and actually touched the person and said, come on, you need to come down here, and put his arm on him and said, come this way. So whatever this guy who was doing it, he's gone. There goes his career at Disney. But his wedding proposal is now going to go down in history. For them, good for them, because now Disney's going to pay for the whole entire wedding. Guarantee you, they're going to pay for that whole damn thing. All right, guys, on that note, we're going to let you get back to what you got to do. Make sure you follow us on all your social networks. Make sure you like us and follow us. Make sure you like us and follow us on our social networks. And we appreciate each and every one of you for downloading us and listening to us. We'll let you get back to what you got to do. My name is the Deacon, saying good night and good night.
Wait, come back.
This is the end. The absolute end.
Écoute-moi.
There you go. See you later. Bye.